What's up, everybody? This is Josh from Free Indeed, the channel where we talk about what a Christ-centered biblical recovery process looks like. And in this video is going to be part two. Part one was about values and behavior, and that was all about answering these questions. Why are values important? And what do you want your values to be? This video, part two, we're going to talk about what your values are right now and how to figure out what they are, especially if you don't know what they are, because you can look at your behavior to find out what your values are. And that can be kind of a scary place for a lot of people, especially in addiction, to go to, because we know what's lying behind that door that we've shut for so long. So if you're at the point where you're ready to start changing, and you've reached that point where your life is unmanageable and you've accepted the fact that you're powerless and that you're ready to start doing some work, and where you want your behavior to start matching the values you want instead of avoiding what your values are already. So that's what this video is going to help us do, is give us a starting point to go off of so we can know where we are. Okay? So Lamentations 3:40 is a great verse to look at. That's one of the verses that supports step 4 in our recovery. And Lamentations 3:40 says, "Instead, let us test and examine our ways. Let us turn back to the Lord." That's on page 1009 in your recovery Bibles. And it's a great verse because it's real simple, and it just says, let me examine my ways. See, I'm not looking, this isn't about looking at other people. This is about looking at myself. So it's understandable to be fearful of looking at your own behavior, especially if you know what's behind that door. We just talked about that. There's a great devotion on page 1489 in our recovery Bibles, and we're not going to read it in this video just because it takes up a little bit of time. But if you want to go read this, especially if you're kind of not quite ready to dive into this yet, but you need a little more time to work through the process before you're ready to examine it, go to page 1489 and read this devotional called Constructive Sorrow. And Constructive Sorrow is a great thing because, like it says in Ecclesiastes 7:3, sorrow is better than laughter because a sad face is good for the heart. So what that means is, just because it's kind of like why we have therapy. Therapy is a great thing, especially if you find a good Christian counselor. It's a great way to go in and to work through some stuff in your past that may cause you sorrow, but on the other side of that is the way that you find happiness and joy and restoration and all these things that we're striving for. So I'm going to give you an exercise here, and it's pretty easy, but it's a lot of work. Okay, so here's the exercise. It's 4 steps. So the first step is to take a piece of paper and draw a line right down the center of the piece of paper. Okay, so you've got a left side and a right side. All right, what you're going to do next is on the left side of the paper, you are going to write down all the values that you think you have. Okay? That's it. So make, 3 to 5, you can even go up to 10 different values that you think you have. So those could be anything from your diet, your marriage, your kids, being a parent, work, God, prayer, church, recovery, sobriety, finances. And then you could go into some different kinds of values. Those are all kind of, general values. But then you could go into some kind of character values, which would be like honesty, love, kindness, generosity, fruits of the Spirit, all that kind of stuff. You can write down all that stuff on the left side of the line, as much as you want. So those are the things that you think you have. So be careful about that. So make sure you write stuff down that you think you have. And then on the other side of the line, on the right side of the line, you're going to start auditing your time. And what I mean by that is you're going to start writing down what you do in time increments. So it's very simple. It's a lot of work, but it's very simple. And I'm actually going to link in the description a workbook by Dr. Henry Cloud called The Audit. And it is a fantastic tool if you really want to do a lot of work on this and start doing the examination piece of it. It's a fantastic tool. I highly suggest you do that. But what you're going to do is you're going to just write down what you do. Okay? This is all objective. These are just the things that you do when you do them. Now, if you don't want to go that far, and if that's inconvenient, or if you have a job that doesn't allow that, or for whatever reason, you can just print out a bank statement from last month. Because what you can also do is you can look at your finances in your calendar, and a bank statement is both. So what you could do is just print out your bank statement and put that on the right side. All right? Once you've done that, the next step is to start drawing lines from your values to your behaviors that match. Okay? And what you're going to start to notice, hopefully you start to notice that you have a lot of lines you can draw. But if you start noticing that you have some values where you can't draw a line to the behavior, that's the stuff that we're going to focus on of the places in our life that we can change. So what are some examples of that? So some quick examples here are, say you value your diet, okay? That's on this side of the line. Say you have your diet written down because you've been working on losing some weight. But you go to Culver's every other day and get ice cream after work. But you can't draw a line from your diet to that behavior, right? All right, let's say you value your marriage, but you spend, an hour after everybody's gone to bed watching porn or Instagram or, whatever inappropriate videos on your phone because nobody's up and nobody knows. You can't draw a line from your marriage to that behavior, okay? What if you value being a good parent, but you spend 45 minutes every day scrolling through Facebook when really you've been intentional, you've been wanting to have an intentional devotional time with your teenager. It doesn't really line up with, you can't really draw a line between those two things. Say you value prayer, but prayer groups and prayer meetings always seem like they're an inconvenience. Doesn't seem like you can draw a line between those two. And the last one, these are just examples. Again, these are just hypothetical examples that I thought of. Say you value your finances, but your Amazon delivery driver is a very happy guy because he has good job security, okay? So can't draw a line from finances to the Amazon delivery driver coming every day, right? Okay, so those are just examples of where we can start to look at what our values are, and then we can start developing some tools to start changing those things. So again, the link for Dr. Cloud's audit workbook is in the description. I'll also have meeting time and information below, and I'm always available for questions. But as we are talking about this, we are discussing the hard stuff that most people don't want to talk about why their behavior doesn't line up with the values. But as Jesus says, where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. So let's start treasuring the things that matter and start changing our behavior. All right? Hope that was beneficial to you and hope to see you at a meeting sometime. See you later.